Hello everybody and welcome back to Benjamin Magnus Plays Aurora 4X. Now last episode we spent a lot of time just sitting around talking about game features and what's kind of going on. It was a lot of explaining, spreadsheets and things like that, but it was also a lot of fun. We got up to the point where we're about ready to design the first engine for our first ship. Now, in our game, it is 1955, so man hasn't really gone into space too much in the standard timeline, but we're about to start exploring the solar system on mine. So all major components like, engines, weapons, things like that need to actually be designed and researched. So you can create research projects by not clicking right there, not the available colonies, by clicking right here. Create research. So it throws you an error if you when you first get in here because we don't have the prerequisites for fire and missile controls. But we're going to go down to engines. We started doing this at the end of last episode, but we're going to do it right now. And what we need to do is design a commercial engine. Now, if you design any military components on your ships, the entire ship is designated military, which means it suffers from things like morale and the need for maintenance layovers and things like that. So we need to change this to a commercial engine. And it says right here, engines of 25 hull size or greater. And I believe each hull size point is 50 tons with power of 50% or lower is classified as commercial. So if we go to power and efficiency and drop it from 1 all the way down to 50% of its, optimal engine power, we get a 0.5 engine power conventional engine. Now it's still military though, because what was the other thing? The hull size. The size of the engine is still small. Now in this game, normally military engines are very small and very powerful and also gas guzzlers. While commercial engines are huge, extremely fuel efficient, they're massive but they're weaker. I guess there's a little bit of dichotomy there, but the way I think of it is, the larger engines are built around fuel efficiencies. So there's storage tanks and compressors and filters and there's lots of components and stuff on there that make them bigger to make them fuel efficient. So what we need to do is go to the engine size right here, and as the size of the engine gets bigger, its fuel consumption goes down. So we can build a one hull size engine, and it's basically got no reduction in fuel consumption. Or you can go all the way up to 50 hull size, and that would get you 50% consumption. But we don't need an engine that big. We can go for an engine of 25 hull size. So we have engine power of 0.5, hull size of 25. So this is now graded as a commercial engine, and it gives us 2.5 engine power is what it gives us. So we need a name for it. I like that. Horrentius Engines Limited. That's the name of the company that's building our commercial engines. Now, if I wanted to, this number right here is what's important. This is our fuel consumption per engine power per hour. So every hour, this one would use 1.33 liters of fuel times 2.5. We could bring it up this way. We can make a more powerful engine, and it also gets more fuel efficient because the hull size increase. Why don't we go full on? Because that gives us twice the engine power at reduced fuel consumption, which would give us an extended range for a larger size. Let's go full on. This is a 5 engine power commercial convention engine from Horrentius Limited. So we're going to create that. Now, it doesn't give you a pop-up or anything to let you know you created it correctly. But what we can do is go over to research, and we have 0 labs available. So why don't we, what do we want to, let's remove one from here, remove a lab from there. And we are going to go to, let's see, power and propulsion. And here we have Horrentius Engine Limited 5 engine power commercial conventional engine for 50 points. And we're going to just give it to a random person. And why don't we give the person with 20% bonus and create that? So now we are researching the engine, and it'll be done on December 15th, which is not that far away. So we'll just plop ahead a little, and we're almost done. And things like research points and construction and orbital movements are completed on 5-day increments, which is why it said 0 for a few days there, because it finished between increments. So let's put that back into mining and that back in. And now we have access to a engine, so we can design. I think we have everything we need to design our first ship. So this is a ship design screen. We're going to start a new ship. It is apparently going to be a Defiant class. It is going to be a ship. PDC stands for Planetary Defense Complex, I think. Basically, it's like missile bunkers that you can put on orbital bodies. So, and we are going to classify the hull. Now, this is cosmetic. This is just for you. This doesn't change anything. But we are going to go down and classify it as a geological survey vessel, just so we know what's happening here. And now we're going to go to design view. Right now, it only weighs 255 tons, it has a crew of 10, and only takes 36.6 build points, but it also doesn't have any speed. This is the lowest speed anything can move in the game. There's no standing absolutely still. And I just remembered, I think I forgot to do something, but we'll work on that. Work on that soon. So what we're going to need is a geological survey sensor. And so just double click and added it right on there. Added a couple 100 tons in crew members to our ship. And now what we need is our engine. So right here we have access to our Horrendous Engines Limited 5 engine power commercial grade engine. We can add that right on there. Now, our ship has a speed of 71 kilometers per second. Now that is extremely fast in normal everyday turns. Extremely, extremely fast. But in terms of this game, it's relatively slow actually. But we also do have a range of over 28.9 billion kilometers, and we could stay out there for 4,700 days. So what we could always do, can add on another one, and that gives us a range of 16 billion kilometers, which is pretty much enough. It also gives us only, wow, that barely changed our speed, actually. That barely changed the speed at all. So there's a point of diminishing return on that. Interesting. Interesting. So what if we could add a second survey on there? That would, so because this ship's not that quick. Ship's not that quick. That would actually slow it down, too, because it makes the ship heavier. 2 engines, 15 billion kilometers. And why don't we give, well, we need to give them provisions. Deployment time is how long it's supposed to be out there, so that's how many supplies you send with the ship. Let's give it a mission length. I mean, it could stay out there for a decade. No, not a decade. Well, why don't we give it a... let's say 100, no, not 100 months. Let's say 70. I'm trying to think of what's, well, we'll just do this. We'll pull up a calculator and figure it out exactly. Calculator. Now, months in this game are calculated as to be 30 days each. So we have 2,356 days divided by 30 days in each month in the game. So we could stay out there for 78 months. So we'll put them out there for 70 months. Because we're not going to stay out the full length, because that would mean we'd run out of fuel. And that, whoa, look what that did. That massively increased the amount of crew quarters, and thus, after that, increased the weight of the ship. Oh, wow, that really increases it by a lot, doesn't it? Or was it that, you know what? I added the sensors and the engines on there, too. So why don't we just do a 2-year mission, then? Or was it? No, it was actually pretty high before, because I was looking at it when it was 38. So let's go back up to 70. Yeah, that barely changes it at all. I was wrong. I forgot that I added the engine and the geological survey sensor that increased the tonnage here. So it's a pretty big ship. Well, for what we're starting with. For what we're starting with, our Defiant class geological survey ship, which sounds terrifying for a survey ship. It's a great name. Great name. And you don't need to save anything. It's all saved as you do it. So this is our first ship right here. The problem is I knew there was something I was forgetting, and that was the fact that our shipyard only has a slipway capacity of 1,000 tons. And there's 2 things we can do. We could add capacity to this. So we'd have to add 5,000 tons of capacity to the naval shipyard, which is plenty feasible. Let's actually set that as our activity. That'll finish December, so end of 1959. That's 4 years away. Or, and we could always cancel that if we want to, we could go to our industry and we could tell them to build a commercial shipyard. And we can move that. Can we move that up? I want them, can we move that one down? I want the, so let's move this one down. There we go. Now, if we let 5 days pass, it should update this, right? Yes. So that will finish in 1956. So, well, why don't we actually just let both of them go? Because we're going to need a larger naval shipyard anyway. So let's just let them both go. Because the commercial shipyard is 10 times the size of the naval one. So that one its base level will be large enough to build the Defiant. So, okay, we finished. That didn't take long at all. So let's go to our shipyard. So now we have new shipyard number 727, and we are going to rename this Strader and Co. We're going to rename our create task. Did I not rename? Can you rename it right in? I know you can rename this. Please enter new system body name. Oh, I renamed the damn Earth, didn't I? Huh. Earth. How do you rename just the shipyard? Rename shipyard. There we go. There we go. I was about to say, why did this change over here? I renamed the entire planet. All right, so we have our Strader & Co. commercial shipyard, which has one slipway at a capacity of 10,000 tons, and I believe our Defiant was 6,800 tons. So with shipyards, what you need is they need to be tooled to a specific class of ship. So they need all the equipment and whatnot that's going to be responsible for building a specific class of vessel. So what we need to do is retool for selected class and pick the geological, well, it was geological survey vessel, explorer. I don't know what the GEV means actually, but that's their geological vessel is right here. Might just be geological vessel defined. So we are going to set activity. Boom. Now your first assignment of classes, your first retooling is free, so it does it automatically. Now we can immediately start building our first ship. Add task. If we go to our shipyard over here, you can see Strader & Co. is building the GEV Defiant. And, well, that's the name of the class. This is the actual name of the vessel, 001. We could actually delete that 001 later, because we're only going to build one of these, I think. And we can just keep going. We'll creep forward and watch our construction progress. It doesn't take that long, honestly. And we should be working on our other stuff as well. We are. Yeah, we are. Good. It's the construction. We have 4 times the construction points we did before, so things are progressing over 4 times faster than they used to. All right, now we have 50% construction unused at the moment, so we can switch it all over. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we modify this to 100%? Not 411, if I could type correctly. 100%. So now it's using all of our industrial capacity to build these. And if we go to our shipyards, this should be almost done. So let's just scooch ahead at 5-day increments. All right, there we go. The Defiant has been constructed. And we can give the Defiant orders by going to this button right here, the little Star Destroyer. I love how it's different just Star Destroyer, a Romulan Warbird. It's very cute. TIE Fighter. Alrighty. Let's see here. So first things we need to do, what was that? Was that the right one? Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's the right one. First thing we need to do is all vessels constructed on planet go into a default task group, TG, which is the shipyard's task group. And the first thing you need to do is detach it from that task group. And the way I've been doing it is just been going over here and splitting the group. It just splits the task, the Defiant from the task group. So now we can go to the Defiant and give them orders. Or I can rename the Defiant, can I? rename Defiant 001. We'll just call it the Defiant. Alrighty. So, orders. Task groups orders. We're going to figure out, we need to figure out which bodies we want to explore first. And I have exactly an idea in mind. All right, let's add moons on here. And I have no idea why, but Luna is under Venus for some reason. So I've never seen any minerals on any elements on Luna. Never, 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 never. But I'm still going to check it out. So we're going to send our ship to do a geological survey of Luna. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send it to Mercury. And we're going to have to do a geological survey of Mercury. And then Venus. Let's see. And then we'll do Mars. And we'll do Mars's moons. Because they're right there. And then after that, we'll figure out where we want to go from there. So here we go. Here is Earth. And let's zoom all the way in so we can see Luna. And there is the geological survey vessel right there. So let's do a 1 hour increment. Whoa! It's going to make it to the moon in about 80 minutes. It's already there. And it needs 170 survey points. So let's just skip ahead a couple days. Now this is actually going to move because we can zoom out a little bit. It's going to move a ways. There we go. So did it complete our survey? It must have completed the survey and found nothing. It found nothing on Luna. So let's zoom back out. Let's zoom back out. Let's put it on. Should we put it on like 1 hour auto turns and watch it go? No, that's too slow. Let's put it on 1 day auto turns and watch him head over to Mercury and see if there's anything there. Oh, it's chasing the planet around. Because of the way, it found minerals on Mercury. So let's see what we're working with. So Mercury has duranium in the quantities of 1.6 million tons, an accessibility of 0.4, which is pretty low. Corbomite, about 1 million tons, very accessible. Boronide, very little amounts and very inaccessible, and huge amounts, almost 5.2 million tons of galacite, again, at a very low amount. So if we are in desperate need of Corbomite, or a decent, or that might be worth it right there, a decent amount of duranium at an okay accessibility, that might make mining Mercury worth it. But let's see what's at Venus before we decide where we're going to go. I just saw somebody increase their research bonus to 45%. That's great. So we're at Venus. And Venus has materials too. It has a lot. Has 46 million tons of duranium, but accessibility is extremely, extremely low. Again, very high numbers across the board. The only thing that is even moderately accessible is uridium. And I don't think we need huge quantities of that. So the only thing that's going to make Venus, feasible is trying to get accessibility higher or getting very efficient mining machinery, basically. And I don't see that happening. So now we are heading towards Mars. We are at Mars. And there is some stuff on Mars. So let's look at that. Okay, here we go. 8 million tons of duranium at relatively good accessibility. And then there's huge amounts of corbonite and so actually some thorium, some fuel, but again, very deeply buried. So I don't see, so right now Mercury or Mars? Probably Mars, just because of the duranium. Everybody needs duranium. Might do Luna first, just because it's the easiest. So did he finish his surveys of Phobos and Deimos? Yes, he did. Okay, so our survey ship only burned 3% of his fuel checking out the entire inner solar system. So now what we're going to do is put moons back up on here. We're going to do Jupiter, and we're going to do geological survey, and we're actually going to have him do a geological well, no, we're not going to do that. Remove that. We're going to do geological survey of all of Jupiter's moons. And we're just going to manually, for like the regular solar system, you know, the huge stuff in the solar system, the main bodies, I do like to go in and manually tell it to do this. There is a way, you can give it orders to do things on its own. There is a way to do that. But I like to make sure that the planets and the moons are done before I work my way up to comets. Holy crap. And let's have it go to Saturn next. And then it'll work its way from there. So now we're heading out of the inner solar system. Let's do a 30-day stint. And zoom out. He's heading right over here. So he did Jupiter. Oh, here we go. Now Jupiter has 91 million tons of sorium at accessibility of 0.8. So very accessible and huge quantities. So Jupiter could be a fuel station. It could be a primary, we could just suck the planet dry of all of its sorium to convert into fuel. And we also, neutronium at very low accessibility. So that's not good. Oh, again, whoa. Oh, I saw the really high accessibility and got super excited, but 64 tons, 800 tons, even the tons in the thousands, they're so low, they're not even worth it. Is he done? He might be done. He might have done everything already. Yeah, he did everything already. Wait, did he not make it to Saturn? He didn't make it to Saturn, though. Plotted move. Oh, he's going over to Saturn right now. I wasn't paying attention. 2 inactive labs. Okay, I got to make sure I pay attention to that. Alrighty, so defensive systems, sensors and fire control, logistics, missile and kinetic weapons. Defensive systems, that's something this is all stuff we don't really need right now. Let's put these into construction rate. That'll be nice. 2005. It's going to take a while. What else did I forgot to do something else. We need to build. So right now we're not building anything. We're going to need to build a military academy. Let's create that. Let's build a couple more research labs. Let's do like 5 of them. They do require good amounts of materials. So maybe, why not? 5. Let's create those. And more factories. Let's build like 250 more factories. Let's create those. All right, let's see what's at Saturn. Saturn has, again, huge quantities of sorium, about 55 million tons more than Jupiter, but also at a much lower accessibility. So again, Jupiter is looking prime right now. So we've done that. Now what I'm going to do is because... Let's go to his special orders here. He's starting to run through his fuel. We're going to want to give him a conditional order to go back and refuel at a colony if he runs lower than 30%. And also I'm going to do is I'm going to have him survey the nearest moon. That's it. So that should have him take care of the nearest, all the moons around Jupiter. Or are we at Saturn? We're at Saturn right now. Yeah, he's taking care of them. Pandora had something. Mercassium in low amounts. So right now I'm thinking maybe a colony on Mars is going to be the best thing for me because it has ready access to large quantities of duranium. Now the moon is the easiest thing to do. But it has no material wealth whatsoever. So I'm thinking maybe skipping the moon and going to Mars is going to be the next best thing for me. And if we're going to do that, we're going to need more powerful engines, I think. Especially if we're going to skip the moon. I'm just trying to think here. Do I really want to skip the moon? And I might want to change some of these out to some other stuff. Let's cancel these. Let's cancel those out. Wow, 55% bonus right now, but fortunately we don't have anybody that we really want, because we need power and propulsion, because we're going to go with nuclear thermal engines. And we're going to give that to you and give you all those labs, and you're going to finish that up in 1962, and it is 1960 right now. As that'll give us access. Ooh, we have an active research lab. Do we build one? Ah, we built some. So why don't we keep dumping those in? What does our construction look like right now? What are we building? Research labs. Okay. All right. All right, so another one built. So we can go to research if I could find it. And we're going to keep going into nuclear thermal right now because we do want those engines. So when you want something, you just dump all the labs onto it and it'll go quickly. When you don't necessarily need anything done right now, you could kind of spread it out a little bit, and that'll be a little bit, you can, what did we just get? Tiberius, Marcius Habitus, Tiberius, this guy right here. Construction and production at 15%, not bad. So what I'm actually going to do is cancel this project, and we're actually going to allocate all my labs to this one, because we want to get that done. And add lab. We have 9 right now. There we go. And we're going to add that lab as well. And so right now we're working on building more construction factories, which are going to go pretty quickly, actually. Look how many construction points we have now. Exceptional new... What is that? Exceptional new what? Exceptional new officer. Okay, so a really good officer just joined the Naval Corps, but that's not a big deal. That's not really a big deal. All right, what were we waiting for? Research? Yeah, we need these engines. Okay, so research completed on those engines. And what else are we going to need to build? Because we're going to need freighters and colony ships, which is going to be logistics, I think. Yeah, we're going to need cryo transport. That one's going to go pretty quickly. Yeah, it's got to finish up real fast. 2 months. There we go. And we got a new... Well, I think I saw... No, she just popped... Marcus just popped back up on the list. Actually, he gained an extra 5% too. And anything else on here are we going to need? We got partially into that, but we're not going to do that right now. I think we got everything else we need. All right, so that means we have 10 labs right now to devote to projects. So logistics, it's going to be this dude right here. Let's give him 2 labs and have him work on the improved cargo handling system. Create that. We're actually going to start putting these people in their proper categories. Defensive systems, we can work on better armor. That's actually good. Let's just give him 1. Sensors and fire control, finally have someone in there. Improved sensors. Why don't we do 2 here? Kinetic, and well, we could actually put something into missiles now. The first thing that's important is this one right here, implosion fusion warhead. It actually makes your missiles 3 times more powerful. That's missile size point. Strength per missile size point. So a missile with this would be 3 times more powerful per size point than a missile without it. So we're going to give him 1. Construction and production. That is important. So probably going to give the other 4 to this person. Yeah, there we go. All right, good. So we need to design and build a new engine again. We need a bigger engine, a more powerful engine. So we are going to go down to engines. And I believe we have access to nuclear thermal technology as opposed to just conventional engines right now. So we're immediately going to go to nuclear thermal, and we do need to make it a commercial engine again. So we're going to drop this right down to 50% power. And we are going to increase its size. So right now at 5 hull points, it's already like 10 times more powerful than my last engine. No, not 10 times. So why don't we go up to 25 hull points. We have a 62.5 engine power thermal and nuclear engine right now, which is awesome. Our last one was 2.5. So this is orders of magnitude more powerful. We can actually go all the way up to one. Why don't we just do that? Because these big engines, super efficient. That's actually going to be really good. So our first commercial engine was 2.5 engine power. This one we just constructed, or just designed at least, is 125 engine power. So we are going to suggest a name for it. Publius and Polis, I like that. Commercial nuclear engine. We're going to create that. And of course, now we're going to need to go by and take some stuff out of here. Let's take, let's remove one of these. And we need to go to engines, or power and propulsion. And there, Publius and Polis. And we are going to just give it to anybody. Create. And that'll be finished pretty quickly. Let's see, where is it on the list? Which one is it? There it is right there. 62. I just got a new scientist. Energy weapon scientist with a very good bonus. I feel like making this go faster, so let's remove that and add it in there. Make this let's finish this up. Another new scientist with a 30% bonus. That is amazing. Join your scientific establishment. Good. All right, that's almost done. There we go. Okay, so sensors, add, construction, add. All right, we're good. All right, yeah, we're good. So where's our little boat right now? Let's zoom him out. Here we go. He's off on a survey mission. Still, it doesn't seem like we found much else. A little bit of Corbomite on another moon. He's going to do all, right now he's set up to do all the moons in the system. I don't know if I want him to do all the moons right now because he's going to be flitting around a lot. So why don't we change his special orders here? Survey nearest moon, planet or moon. That's actually a good one. Nearest body. Is there comments on here? No, let's just do survey nearest body. There we go. So that'll tell him to survey whatever's closest to him. Oh, and we just finished research on Duranium armor as well, but we are out of time. So we did a lot this episode. We got a lot done. We got our little survey ship out, trying to find places to colonize. We figured out Mars is definitely very accessible to us right now. And while it's a lot farther away than the moon, it also has much more to offer us. So, yeah, we're going to leave it right here. If you have enjoyed this episode, just drop me a like, leave me those comments right down below. And if you're interested in more Benjamin Magnus plays Aurora 4X, just subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.